Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Sunday, March the 21st. The year's 2021. Let's talk trading. Weekly open and gap. Just so you know, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So, as we look at the weekly, we can see that the pound gap down. It's looking like it's trying to fill that gap. It will fill the gap if it hits 138.595. And you can see here on this Sunday, we've got a bunch of gaps that haven't filled yet. So if you like trading that weekly open the gap, there's still opportunities to get in on some trades. We are above the opening range for the year. We are below the opening range for the month, and we're establishing right now the opening range for the week. We are sitting 210 pips above the yearly open and 76 below the monthly open. And right now, the weekly and daily are both the same at 16 pips above their opens. We are in the inside bar, the daily inside bar that occurred 10 days ago. So look for price to escape. Also, we are in the weekly inside bar that occurred 1 week ago. So long, looks like, call it 14001. And with a short at 1.38, let's call it 08. But remember, your results may differ from mine. The range so far, we are, let's see, 7 hours into the trading day, and the ranges are pretty weak here. Let's see, do we have any range even over 50? No, it's not much happening so far. We've got a pivot, daily pivot at 138.82. So anybody fading the gap and trading toward the pivot right now on the pound should be in profit. Not enough pips for the rat zone, so be careful if you're trying to trade the rat zone at this time of day. Very interesting here. We've got the weekly pivot. First, we've got the daily pivot at 1.38, call it 82. We've got the weekly pivot at 1.3889, and we've got the monthly pivot that we've already crisscrossed sitting at 1.39, let's call it 10. So all the pivots are above us at this point in time. Once again, there's the daily pivot looking to be filled, the weekly pivot looking to be filled, and the monthly pivot's already been filled or crossed. We are in the lower wick zone of the previous day right now. You see we opened inside, it penetrated below. What was that low here? 138.17. Price is returned, a nice return. So anybody trading, we got a buzzer reversal here. We've got probably there was a semaphore down here, a nice turn trade happening. So we can see and looking to fill that gap. On the range, once again, so far 37 pips, nothing to talk about at the moment. We're looks like we're coming off of the high by 2 pips. You see close minus low 35, so nice move off of that bottom so far. And we'll just look to take out the pivot right there at the 82, 83 level. Wall mall traders, once again, it's simple horizontal line trade. You can see here, sometimes you have to be quick to take your pips. and sometimes you can ride and ride and ride. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Somebody's having a problem with indicators. Or at least they think it's a problem with indicators. Once again, you have to send me a picture of your chart so I can see what you see. And then you also need to send me a screenshot showing the indicator. But even better yet, let's just say maybe you've got the semaphore up. I need to see your inputs because if you change the inputs, um, that might be the difference. Um, but somebody sending me an email saying this indicator's not working, well, there could be lots of reasons why. Sometimes it's the data. Um, Sometimes you might have to come to your chart and just click the refresh button and that clears it up. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you might be trading something where it's not a 24-hour cycle on that instrument. So if the indicator is looking for like the 00 hour, and that instrument doesn't have it, well then the indicator can't find that particular bar, so it won't plot. Because that happened. One trader had an indice that plotted fine on H4, but it wasn't plotting on H1. So still trying to figure out why that is. So if it works on something but it doesn't work on something else, then usually it's the something else that's the problem, not the indicator. Data in, data out, garbage in, garbage out, that kind of thing. So we'll just have to look to see if we can rectify that. And people asking about the indicators, you guys know I post my code on Kreslik.com, and the other indicators are donational. You make a donation to my PayPal account, and you get the donationals for that year. And let's see, batch 3 was out, and probably maybe at the end of next week, April sometime. Yeah, I think I'll be releasing batch 4. There's some interesting indicators I've been working on. I think you'll like them. And somebody's said that, you send out so many indicators, no one person can use them all. Well, that's true. No one person I would think would want to use them all. But it's like you go into the hardware store and you go to the tool aisle. Depending on the job, there's different tools. If you want to cut, you go down the saw aisle. If you want to tighten bolts, you go down the wrench and socket aisle. So that's what these indicators are. They're just tools. Um, and maybe somebody might just use just one of them. Somebody else might use 4 or 5 of them. But I just create the tools, develop the tools, code the tools, so you guys can use them. I mean, I've coded so many indicators, I've even forgotten some of the ones I've coded. That's how many I've coded. Sometimes I forget I coded something and I go and I code it a second time. There's just lots of indicators. But as Walmart and I were pointing out, you know, it's not really the indicator. Mainly, I use the indicators to make calculations or put lines. Or I could do it by hand, but the computer's so much quicker and so much, you know, better at it. So I try to free up, my time to do what I need to do in managing trades rather than um, worry about plotting a line. Speaking of which, somebody was asking me about, oh, I forget, there was one kind of line plot, but let's see, where do I think I have a version here. The TRO HL5 indicator, and then even, or TRHL, this just plots highs and lows, but HL5, this plots so many different things. Your open, high, low, close, your midpoint. If you just want to put the top and bottom, the pivots, the pivot with the support and resistance, the mid pivots, the pivot gridiron. You can show a fixed price, the VWAP as a line, the point of control. Um, highest close, lowest close. I should probably do a highest low and lowest high. I should add that too there now that I think about it. Whether or not the lines have been crisscrossed. You can show um, offsets from the open, ATRs from the open. Like I said, you can even show a moving average as a horizontal line. So the current moving average. Um, so if somebody says, "Well, what one indicator?" I mean, this is it. This will do the rat zone, the wick zone, the buy zone. It has many, many, many uses. It'll draw even angle lines. Um, so that's the indicator to put on the chart and start playing with it. And I've got videos that show how to use the different functions. And then somebody's asked about one-on-one, and I'm not really sure um, what they mean. I mean, sometimes somebody sends an email, and I see they're in the U.S., and if they have their phone number, I'll give them a call, or sometimes I'll just send my phone number. They can give me a call. I enjoy talking, to fellow traders out there. I'm sitting here in the room all by my lonesome, sometimes hours at a time. But that's why Walmart and I, we usually spend a couple hours on the phone or more every day while we're trading. Um, just to give each other a heads up on certain things. So as far as the one-on-one mentoring or whatever, I really don't know what I could do um, one-on-one that I couldn't do, or you couldn't get from me just listening to these videos, watching these videos, because it's all the same stuff. It's, most of the things are based on horizontal lines, with the exception of the open gap and the pivot fade, but everything else it's just levels, kind of like that Seinfeld episode with Kramer talking about levels. He's going to have all these levels in his apartment, and it, and once again, the Walmart method is just he basically used the sweet spots indicator that I modified, and he built a system around it because he liked the statistics of when you look at the range of the pound and the frequency distribution of the range. He knows that between certain hours, he could probably pick up his 10 pips that he's shooting for. And usually within 2 hours, he can be done for the day. And, a simple horizontal line method, when you don't have to really do much thinking about when to enter, it's pretty much predefined. When this candle here opened, it opened at 47.7. The long was at 50. The short was at 40. That was it. There was nothing else to think about. All you have to do is place the order. You can put in a pending order ahead of time, sit back and see if it gets hit, or you could wait and watch. And for example, Walmart usually likes to only trade on the second touch of an M5. So if you see here, let's see. Let's see, where did this opened? I think this was, yeah, so it opened here, but you see here it touched it once, twice, 3 times. So the open of this hour, since it already touched it before, 3 times, it's like, yeah, go for it. And you could have taken, 3 or 4 pips off of the trade so far. Not too bad, especially if you're trading with size. So traders, you don't have to worry about, all those different fancy indicators and systems out there. If you trade this, you learn to trade at a horizontal line, you will then start to master your risk management, your money management. And once you do that, you might not want to try any other method. So, fellow traders, I hope you had a fun and safe weekend. And now that you're back in front of your trading platform, always remember, never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.